We survived a 4-year international long-distance relationship.
And look at us now.
Hi Explorers, Morgan and
Chris here, documenting our journey towards full-time family travel.
This week, we were missing our families a little extra, and through looking on social media, we noticed that this is happening every day around the world, and it got us thinking it really wasn't that long ago that we were separated by the Atlantic Ocean.
It was not easy, but we survived, and it is possible, and actually I think that it even builds foundation for a stronger relationship.
Our first year of college, we both took jobs as camp counselors in the Poconos Mountains. And it wasn't love at first sight. I actually had no idea that Chris and I just didn't happen to have the same exact schedules. I thought that we just happened to teach the same courses and serve lunch at the same time. And it wasn't until later that I found out that that was intentional.
Yeah, I would intentionally swap lunch schedules or even activity schedules so that I could hang out or work with Morgan during the summer camp.
But I had no idea. And so fast forward to New Year's, a bunch of people from the States that worked there, we decided to fly out to London to celebrate the New Year. And that's when our relationship started. We kind of started vibing then. I was like, oh, he's cute. But he was so shy.
Making me blush.
Yeah, but he was so shy. But I think that traveling through Europe together, that really brought us very close. And I think that we kind of saw a different side of each other that we didn't get to see as just friends at camp before. So long story short, we fell in love and decided, oh my gosh, this is absolutely insane, but let's try a long distance relationship.
Yeah, that's when it started, honestly. And I think that first initial goodbye when we had to separate after traveling for that, 2-3 weeks.
It was like a honeymoon.
That's when it set in and we're like, oh, we're gonna have to try this now and see where this goes. And we kind of thought we have to owe it to ourselves to do this now.
Yeah, just to give it a whirl. So that definitely changed the dynamic when we said goodbye, because we weren't together every day like we had been for weeks, and it just changed things a little bit, which leads us to our number one tip, which is crucial: communicate. There's lots of ways to communicate, and I think that when you're not physically able to be together, that you kind of have to make up for that in unique ways. So one of the ways that we did it was we wrote letters to each other, which I thought was really special because you'd wait by the mailbox, and it sounds kind of hokey and old-fashioned, but it's really cool. And now we have all of these really funny and kind of cringy love letters that we sent each other, but I really enjoy having them just for reference and for nostalgia's sake.
Words really can't begin to describe how much I miss you. It's like my body is empty and I lack emotion and humor because I try to block out that I am not with you.
Oh, that's very poetic. Also, when you don't get to see the person, you have to figure out a schedule to communicate and make it a priority. I think that we kind of failed at that to begin with. It was just really hard because there was a 5-hour time difference. So when I would be getting done with work, it would be very early morning.
Yeah, it was tough.
Okay. And that was really hard. And I think that we kind of got on each other's nerves a little bit about that. I think we were both thoroughly exhausted from working full-time and also going to school. So just figuring out a time and really taking ownership of your schedule. I think that we did that much later in our relationship, but I think that would have definitely behooved us to do that earlier.
Don't forget about your individual goals.
While we did make time to communicate with each other, we definitely had a little bit of a struggle figuring out our personal goals and how to prioritize them. When we decided that, yes, we definitely want to try to make this work, it was really quickly after we started dating.
Yeah. very fast. Was it 3 weeks?
Yeah, and we had to figure out what we wanted to do after that because we were in different countries. So Chris was in the middle of his first semester at college, and you were willing to come over at that point.
I think at that point I was just like, I was looking up online, okay, how can I move to the States? Legally, obviously, and how can I still figure out going to school to study film? And it was like, Morgan's like, no, you gotta stop. You have to do school. You have to take care of yourself, and you have to like achieve your personal goals too. Which I think, in hindsight, was the absolute best option to do that at the time.
School's so much more expensive here, so that was definitely a factor. It had nothing to do with our commitment to each other, and I think that we had a mutual understanding of that. But we also knew that in order to be the best people that we could be, we had to still stay on track for certain things. And so I do see a lot of people that chase love, and they're not wrong, don't get me wrong, but we just wanted to make sure that we didn't have any regrets and we were doing it as strategically as possible. Do overcome obstacles. There are so many obstacles that people in long distance relationships have to face, including us, and I think you just have to get creative. I mean, we had to balance schedules. We were on different sides of the Atlantic Ocean. We had financial struggles because we were flying back and forth so often. We were working full time in addition to going to school to pay for those flights and all those fun things that we did when we saw each other, which is not cheap. And even school schedules. I mean, I remember that being like a killer. Like, we saw each other so much. We were so fortunate. I don't think we went over 3 months without seeing each other for like 4 years.
Easter, summer, Christmases, like we spent all that time together, which we're very fortunate to be able to do. And even things like I had to get an internship one semester, and I, rather than being constrained to England, I said, hey, can I get my internship in the US? And I did, and I found one in Chicago, which allowed me to spend even more time with Maureen, which is awesome. So there's unique ways that you can overcome certain obstacles that may be in your life, in that long distance relationship of yours. Just be creative. Don't give up. Have an end goal. We got engaged after 6 months, and it was very important to us and to our relationship when that happened, because it gave us this end goal in mind. We both knew that it was much more serious, and even though we're both at school at that point and we're working hard to get our degrees and better ourselves, we knew that there was an end goal. We knew that we were engaged, and we knew that once we were finished with school, we were going to be together. And I think that's really important for any couple, any relationship, to kind of know where it's going, and what it looks like, whether it's like a year down the road or a couple of years, 5 years, whatever that looks like for that long distance relationship, whatever the circumstances are, it's important to know where it's going.
And just to know that the struggles, the immediate struggles at least, aren't forever when there's that end goal.
When your long distance journey is finally over and you're together, that doesn't mean that there's going to be more obstacles down the road. Because when I finally finished school and I got my fiance visa and I moved to the States and we got married, that's when things got real.
Yeah, and I think that it was definitely a great time to put all the things that we had learned in our long distance relationship in place, because let's face it, we did not have the ideal situation. So I was going to school, you moved here, and we got married, and then we moved directly into my parents' house. That was fun. And then just applying to be a citizen, that's a huge journey, and there's lots of paperwork, and there's interviews and all sorts of high-level stress situations that go along with that. But I think that we were able to pull through because we're already a pretty strong couple, and we'd been doing it for so many years, and being together just made it so much easier.
Yeah, and I think about it too, like all the time that we spent apart, and all that kind of heartbreak at the airport when we have to say goodbye, because it's gut-wrenching, it's so horrible to say goodbye to someone at the airport and then have to get onto a plane by yourself, and hold those tears in. But you think about all those times and then you just go, this is easy. We can do this because like we've already been apart. That was the hard part. Now it's the easy part. The lessons that we learned along the way as well. About communicating and being patient and making time for each other. Like we still do that now, and I think those things built for a really strong foundation for our relationship and for our marriage, and for our future. So we're better because of it.
Yeah, and I really hope that this can inspire you, especially if you're in this type of situation. Like we said before, it's not easy, but it's possible. So hopefully you can make it too. So please comment down below. We want to know where you're watching from. We want to know if you're in a long distance relationship or if you've ever been in one, and what works for you, what didn't.
Thinking about starting one,
Yeah, it's a good time for it, right? Please, if you haven't already subscribed, please do so and ring that bell so you can get notified every time we upload a new video.
And please smash that like button.
We'll see you next week.
Adios. We both got engaged. We both got engaged. It wouldn't just be like me getting into someone else. Gosh.
We both got engaged to other people. We got engaged to each other. And then they got engaged.
And we're best friends. We meet every Thursday for potluck. All right. This is the secret sauce right here. Laughter.
Yeah.
Laughter.
Laughter, darling.
Laughter, darling.
We are able to communicate.
I'm sorry.
We're
not communicating now, though, are we?
Like, we want to kill each other sometimes.
Oh.
But...